We've got Tosilama Okofu here with us. He's also a development economist. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Well, that has generated a lot of furore now in terms of how those monies have been spent, who got what, even though the SIP office will be explaining a little further on what exactly has happened. But we do remember that they did say initially that, in terms of giving it its form and its structure, the BOI in charge, creating that platform to disburse those funds, and so 10,000 naira, depending, some 5,000 naira. But in terms of the views of the wife of the president and how this fund is actually being dispersed, do you think that she really did raise some points that we really should consider?
She absolutely did. She absolutely did.
Because the SIP says, look, she was speaking without facts.
I don't understand how the wife of the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria can speak without facts. What are facts? Information. She may not actually be in government per se, as it were, as an official, but she gets certain information from Other room. And that is absolutely true. And that is absolutely, she spoke as somebody that was informed. She gave figures, she gave statistics. She cited situations from one state to the other, one local government to the other. So what do you define as facts? The truth is, the facts that you and I know is on this poverty clock that you guys have become famous in running. Over 98 million Nigerians are, or thereabout, are, under the falling out of the safety net.
Yeah.
Those are facts.
But
and it is as a consequence, sorry, Chamberlain, it's as a consequence of the failed policy, of those failed policies. What were those policies aimed at achieving? To improve the well-being of Nigerians. But I have a problem with it.
Okay, before you go into that,
okay.
What she said, not that the entire, if I understand that from what was said, not that the entire program is a failure. Don't forget, she did say, look, in Adamawa State,
at least one local.
She didn't see all of those things there.
Yes,
in
one
panel,
government.
She's saying there are questions
yes,
about all of those. But that doesn't speak for the other states. So are we generalizing, highlighting those two states as examples of how it fared in several other states? Can we say it's failed because of that?
That's what I'm saying. You can draw inference from where you are, okay? You can extrapolate. She didn't have to mention the 36 states and the FCT. I just talked about the poverty index, the clock that is running.
Yeah.
It's humongous. That's almost 75% of the Nigerian populace that are falling outside the safety net. It shows that the policies of governments have not really worked for those people. Because the whole essence of why those programs were thrown up was to ensure that the living standard of the average Nigerian,
But there was also a response from Madam Uwais, who is part of the SIP program and coordinating it.
Yes.
And she did say that 11.5 million people directly benefited from this project. Is that throwing away all of that?
Well, I'm not going to join issues with Mrs. Uwais, who is a special advisor on the program, and the wife of the president. But what I know, what you and I see, right? And again, I'll go back to the poverty clock. It does not speak positively that those policies or those programs have worked. What we're essentially having right now is socialism. It failed in Soviet Union. And I don't understand for the life of me why we'll come back to running that kind of system, economic system.
Do you expect a check and balance, for instance, if that much money has been spent?
Of course, there should be checks and balances.
Is there an existence?
There should be transparency. People should be held accountable for monies that are spent and monies that are not spent, and how those monies were spent and why they were not spent. You and I know that as a people, we are genetically corrupt. We are a corrupt people. That is the truth. No, hang on. We are genetically corrupt. When you give the average Nigerian, that's my point.
Yeah,
position. And the facts speak for it. If you give the average Nigerian, there might be one or two exceptions to the rule. If you give the average Nigerian the opportunity,
several exceptions.
Yeah, I say one or two
companies
exceptions.
running in this
The president
country
is
that
not corrupt, for instance. The president is fighting corruption, and this is a project that he supports.
The president is one
hold
man.
on. The SIP
no, you hold on. You hold on. I was making the point. Can I please? I'm your guest. Can I please say something?
Go ahead.
I have a thought process here. I'm not casting aspersion on a particular individual. I'm looking at a process. I'm looking at an institution, and I've said it's not working. You and I see the fact that Nigeria. See, the poverty index is high. The unemployment rate is very, very high. The economic statistics, the figures are not looking good. And these are a throwback or as a consequence of some of these programs that are being executed.
Okay, but speaking about those programs, but even though, yes, we have challenges dealing with corruption, but you cannot say that Nigerians are genetically corrupt. There's no such thing. I mean, nobody will accept that in the country, especially people who know they are working real hard to make ends meet. So just to put that out there.
No, if you are working real hard,
there are two different
if you are working, if you are working really hard, there are instances, and I've pointed out, if you are working really hard for people who, have been made homeless because of strife and wars, right? In IDPs.
Yeah, if you say systems are corrupt,
and you couldn't give account, 500 million was not accounted for because of certain things. I don't know what else.
Now, let me come to that 500 million, but I'll just point out that one when you say they are genetically not. That's definitely, maybe if you talk about the system, the structure, yeah, we could look into all of this.
Who made the systems and the structures? The people.
Yeah, but not everyone is just.
I didn't say,
is different.
Chamberlain, I didn't say.
From the main thing.
No.
So.
You're looking at, if you want us to now start discussing semantics rather than economics.
No, I was just looking at what you said. So, because there are people who take exceptions to some of
but that is the reason why the wife of the president is complaining. Things are not working. Is it not people who make those things work or not?
And that's why we're here to look at some of those.
They can't give account.
If you talk about socialism failing, but look at China, look at Denmark, look at Finland. Those are socialists. They're all practicing those socialist.
They are not completely socialist. China is not completely socialist.
No, China officially is, but they're tending towards capitalism now. But they are still officially socialist. They tended
towards capitalism over 20 years ago when Chairman Mao took over, and you and I can see the result.
Denmark, Finland.
Those are not socialist. They are not socialist economies.
How not?
They are welfarist. It's a different thing. Welfarism and socialism are two different things. You want the welfare of the people. Every system does that.
So doesn't this program want the welfare of the people in nature? This SIP program?
Yeah, it is. But I'm saying I looked at the overall picture, the overall drive, economic drive of the government. That's what I'm saying. It's welfarist,
okay,
which is good. But my take is, we are tending more towards socialism.
And you say that won't work?
It didn't work. It didn't work in Soviet Union.
Okay.
That's why today you don't have Soviet Union. You have Russia. You have all the Balkanized states.
Okay, speak to us about the social investment program as you know it. Is it a problem of the program itself or the process of executing the program?
I have absolutely nothing against the program. The program is ideal. Like I said, it's about welfarism. You want your people to live well. But then again, when you go around giving people 5,000 naira, right? Part of it is the trader money.
As a loan?
Chamberlain, if I give you 5,000 naira, you reject it and give me 4,000 naira. 5,000 naira cannot buy 4,000 naira.
But it's not meant for maybe people like...
There's no Nigerian that 5,000 naira will make much sense to, apart from just to meet their daily needs, maybe for 1 or 2 days. It will not add any real value to those people in terms of investment, in terms of long-term situation. That's the reality.
Are you saying that the SIP program is not structured to give an economies of scale such that it now snowballs to more employment, seeing an injection of
that is what I'm saying. There is a trickle-down effect.
It doesn't.
We're talking about trickle-down economy. Where is it? Let me tell you something. Socialism never worked. The Russians found out. And you and I know what happened, where Soviet Union found out. Even China. And that's why, what did they do? They evolved. The program, as it is structured, the intention is good. You don't measure intentions, you measure outcomes. what's the outcome?
But if the aim...
Crime rate... Hang on. It's a chain.
If the aim is to increase the welfare of these people,
yes.
Is it wrong then to go out, give this 10,000 naira or 5,000 naira, as you say, is the trader money part of it? Is there anything wrong in the government taking this initiative?
I understand where you're going. If you spread yourself too thin, and you spread yourself too thin, you don't achieve the aim. If you give 50,000 naira to 10 people, right? That's 500,000 naira, right? It makes a whole lot more sense than if you give 5,000 naira to 100 people. You don't have to touch the lives of everybody. Because at the end of the day, you now waste the intention might be good, but the execution is faulty.
Are you aware that there are traders in the nooks and crannies of Nigeria whose entire business is built on less than 5,000 naira?
What kind of business is that? You sell tomato and pepper, right? Okay, and then you give those people 5,000 naira. By the time you leave, a Yao lodger comes and taxes them. Bawalaye comes and taxes them. Local government comes, taxes them. The state government comes, taxes them. Fowler and his people will come. I mean, let's get facts.
So
right.
back to the issue. You said when we asked the other time, is it a problem with the program, social investment program, or the process? Against the backdrop of the fact that you said that socialism doesn't work. So again, I ask you, is it a problem with the program or the process?
I just said I don't have a problem with the program.
But you said socialism doesn't work.
It's welfareism. And I said I don't have a problem. Let's not go back and forth with semantics, right? I was clear as to what I meant. There's nothing wrong in welfareism. Even the American system does operate welfareism. That's what government is about.
Lots of countries have it.
Exactly.
Okay.
But socialism is totally different, and I'm saying I have a problem with that.
Okay.
Societies do not grow. Even some of the biggest economists that tried that, they failed. Okay. And then what they did? They did a 360-degree turnaround. Rather than spend all those monies in little bits, you can use those monies to generate other sources of income. You can create jobs. And those children that you are feeding with food, you are giving food that you will not feed, some of them will not feed their dogs. But right? Their parents will now be gainfully employed and feed them well.
But the thing about this suggestion of yours is, how is that going to fly? Because this concept, if it's welfareism,
yes,
and you're asking them to create jobs, they, as government, the best they can do is create the environment. Then private sector can come in and create those jobs. So those will be two completely different strategies. And how will they achieve this? They can't achieve the same purpose.
See, we are an emerging economy. We are front. The government drives the process.
Yeah.
I remember the other time I was here, we talked about the enabling environment, and I tried to break down what those enabling environments are. I mean, they're just cliches until you actually break them down. This is the same government that got over $300 million Abacha money is loot returned. And then you now spend those monies on trader money and such socialist programs. Not too long ago, the same government was looking at borrowing over $300 million from India to develop our ICT infrastructure. How does that sound to you? If they had deployed those monies, returned to us, interest-free, it's our money that was stolen, and then you deploy it to developing our ICT infrastructure, where Nigeria ranks amongst the third lowest in ICT infrastructure, given our size and all that, it would have made a whole lot of difference. In the process of deploying all that, you create jobs along the line. Those children, some of their parents would have been employed. They will be better fed, right? So welfareism, the whole process of welfareism is equally does dovetail to issues of employment.
Sometimes the issue that
first welfareism, the standard of the living, or the standard of living of the people, being better.
Different classes of people.
Exactly.
They need to target.
You can touch people at different stages. But I have a challenge with you collect money. Government doesn't have enough. Even if the government decides now that it wants to go and print money like Idi Amin did in Uganda, you and I know what's going to happen. Inflation is going to spike. Those things, again, too, will dovetail into standard of living continually dwindling.
Is the SIP underreported?
I don't know. I won't claim to be an expert in following the government and what they do, right? But at least the little that I do know, what I see is that this the school feeding program, you and I know that it is a colossal failure. It is, because I don't understand how. It's only maybe sometimes when maybe you see the vice president, he goes around some schools, then you have optics. Even in the process of now preparing those foods for the children to eat, there are wastages, there are leakages. I don't want to use the word corruption again so that you don't now start tackling me.
No.
But that is the truth. Do you understand?
You're entitled to your opinion, I will respect that. But the thing about this is this. How do we then, because some of the figures, when they come and then they tell us, look, school enrollment increased in a number of these areas as a result of this. Then they tell you, this same feeding you talked about, you see the leakages, but they see those who are getting these jobs and having this ripple effect because of the nature of the informal sector and that section of the economy. So they see impact, but you see waste as well. So is the impact much more, is the waste much more than the impact?
Let me tell you something. Government will always come and tell you that it's doing well. I'm not a social critic. I'm not bashing the government. I'm sure by the time we wrap up this, I may have pointed out certain things that I don't like, but usually what I do is I try to profile what I believe are solutions going forward. But this is a new government, as it were, coming in, so you probably want to set some agenda. Okay? I'll tell you what I don't like and say, okay, this is what I think, this is the direction I think we should go. It's a complete failure. And this government will do well to scrap that completely. Let's move towards a different direction. And thankfully...
500 billion naira failure?
Listen, you can't
fail with 500 billion naira. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but do you see you can ask me questions, I'm going to ask you back. Do you truthfully, Gimba, see the impact? Do you see the impact?
It's not for me to say.
No, it's for you to say. You're sitting across me doesn't mean that you don't have an opinion.
The president's
wife said it's not working.
She said that one local government out of 22 in Adamawa State got it.
What percentage
and it's a process. It's a process.
What are you talking about? 1 out of 22. And you're telling that's a process for how long? It means that the process is very sluggish. If they were 12 out of 22, I was okay, well, that's some process. 1 out of 22, what's the percentage?
But the woman running the program said that...
Of course, she will come and justify what she's doing.
She said, as a matter of fact, 11.5 million beneficiaries have gotten something out of this project.
Of what percentage of Nigerians?
11.5 million people, she said.
Of what Nigeria... What's our population size?
If we are to...
What's our population size?
If we are to...
You just... hang on. You don't just bandy figures. You benchmark those figures with other figures. 11.5 million Nigerians out of over 150 million conservatively.
And she said that because there is, we are told, that because there is inadequate funding into the project...
Can she even prove that
funding
is right?
It's a hindrance for them, she said.
Guys, let's do this. For instance, now, they'll come up with all of those figures.
Yes.
But how should this be approached? When you say they can invest in ICT, we know the market women, how many percentage will access ICT, or how many percentage of parents who are in ICT sector or market women? We know that that's a different kettle of fish entirely. What should government do? How should they approach their program aimed at targeting that class of people? Because they say, look, we need to reach out to those kind of people. What should they be doing if you say this welfare strategy isn't working?
Okay, this is the Google generation. So let's not limit ICT deployment to the average market woman in the rural, in your village and my village. But you'll be amazed how well exposed and knowledgeable some of these people are. My mom is over 80 years, she's 82. She's on WhatsApp, she's on Facebook, she's digital. you understand what I'm saying? So let's not undermine that. She's not a market woman, okay?
No, don't forget that the literacy level of the country.
Yeah,
Don't
but you
forget
see,
that as
where is
well.
India today? How literate was India some years ago? India is where it is today because some people sat back and decided that ICT, or IT is the way to go. And that is when they went to a place in India called Pune, and they started developing their ICT infrastructure from there.
They deployed people to do that.
The people needed tools to work. People and materials, you know, are the process, and it worked.
Okay, so sometimes it's the process of how it is done. The people that are deployed to do that in Nigeria, for instance.
Don't we have the people? You have $300 million. You can get the people and the materials, okay, to make it work. It's about the way. It's about the strategy. It's about actually knowing what to do. You know, so if you want to grow the economy, you look at what works in some other places you can relate with. Some countries today, even in Africa, are focused more along the line of IT infrastructure, not even agriculture, because you can even use IT to drive agriculture. You know, so processes have to change. We are too analog in our approach to so many things. That's what I'm saying. I don't have a problem with welfareism, but it shouldn't now be, we shouldn't deploy so much resources in such a way that we spread ourselves too thin. You can impact the lives of a few people at a time, and over time, cumulatively, everybody becomes better.
All right, we'll have to anchor at that point. It's a democracy. Ideas have got to contend, so we'll all seek to see how we can improve the system. Osalama Okofu, development economist, thank you very much indeed for coming on.
Thanks for having me.